Alright, Truth Seekers, for this video I'm just going to cover a few odds and ends of important events that have happened over the past few weeks. I'm sure you all know about the raid the FBI made on Trump's estate at Mar-a-Lago in search of some documents. But what really impressed me about this stage of the play was that the very next morning, Hillary Clinton, August 9th, chose to advertise her merch showing that she had gotten away with the emails. You're going to get this disgusting biased take for whatever search engine you used to search for the topic of the Clinton email scandal. This is pre-search, and the top surface results are Yahoo, BBC, Vox, Wikipedia, ABC News, Politico. The major concern that really no articles state was that Hillary Clinton used a private server for emails, likely to cover up for improper business dealings overseas when she was Secretary of State during the Obama administration's terms. Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton violated federal records rules through her use of the private email server while she was Secretary of State. A State Department audit has concluded. At a minimum, Secretary Clinton should have surrendered all emails dealing with department issues before leaving government service, says the audit. Inspector General, obtained by NBC News. And so this brazen display of poking her thumb on her nose, bragging that she got away with it, all while selling an overpriced hat, I consider to be a power play. She's messaging to the conservative opposition that she is so powerful she can brag about getting away with her crimes. On just the day after Trump was raided, she's connected to that deep state, so she gets away with it. Yeah, it's a real tweet, and I think this is an important bookmark in our historical record. It's also evidence of a demoralization campaign by the deep state against the republic. Yes, they are powerful, they are interlocked, but when people team up, they are not completely unstoppable. The Washington Examiner has an excellent article covering the contents of the photo taken by the FBI during the raid. This staged photo has documents strewn about the floor as if that were their natural state, with cover pages some speculated were not the original property on the premises but were added by the FBI. And you see these whiteout pages. Well, the Gateway Pundit has an article titled FBI Doctored Mar-a-Lago Photo Added Their Own Docs to Create a Crime Scene That Didn't Exist, where they claim that some of these documents displayed may have been post-edited in a Photoshop or similar type of software. I'll test that. Testing the photo can be challenging, as it was a part of an appendix for the DOJ filing which occurred on August 30th, 2022, with a copy uploaded to Rescript. But that process of uploading prevents us from accessing the original image file itself unless that was provided to media outlets separately to vouch for authenticity. We'll give it a try. So I upload a WEBP file downloaded from one of the news websites to Fotoforensic for analysis. The metadata doesn't show anything suspicious. Okay, now playing with the levels using GIMP shows this. For some reason this little segment is darker than the other segments, and that corresponds with this document. Then there's this Time cover, knock knock. Per the Washington Examiner, it's a framed copy of Time magazine from date March 4th, 2019, titled "The Biggest Field Yet, No Frontrunner, A Divided Base. Welcome to the 2020 Democratic Primary." The cover art shows Trump sitting in the Oval Office, appearing to use his peripheral vision to look over the shoulder as a crowd of Democratic presidential contenders peers through the window behind him. Now President Joe Biden has his face up to the glass directly above Trump's head, and so you see that there with Kamala beside him. I was informed that this does represent a type of coded communication and that it's considered to be a good sign that it appeared in the FBI photo. That's more going towards that theory of the hidden irregular warfare that is supposedly ongoing throughout the world using paramilitary and pseudo-military factions in non-militarized conflict with intelligence gathering agencies. I suppose that remains to be seen. In another recent event, Ben Hex Win sends me this video about the Vatican Bank. I watched the video and respond. I partly buy this because the skyrocketing energy costs in Europe to lead to the reaction of citizens refusing to pay their bills. The climate energy crisis is going to be the context needed for justifying implementation of Great Reset agenda, as the Western world is under a Marxist leadership illegitimately here in the US. They are ready to Rescript to get us prepared for the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, and turn 1984 into reality. I'll play you a segment from this video titled "Warning, Greater Plan of Satanic Elite is Exposed," posted by Free Your Mind on BitChute.
Move to the Vatican Bank within 30 days of September 1st, 2022. You see the full stop again? That's purpose. They're basically saying count 30 days. Count 30 days. That will more or less put you on the 1st of October, okay? And he does reveal more and more that it is a Rescript. And if you look up what a Rescript is, it'll take you straight in there, which means they're going to rewrite the narrative, okay? And you can have this translated into your own native language, okay? Why am I telling you this? Because you need to know on the 1st of October, the shit is going to hit the fan. Whether the general public will be even aware of it, I do not know. But the point is, those people that have got assets, our mortgage clients, our tax clients, our debt clients, as it were, protect your assets at all costs. You don't want to leave it in the open market, because this is where the snatching will take place. So just to recap, okay, it is a Rescript, retelling of history, retelling of a story, and it's given them the 1st of October to get it right, okay? And I've given you all the information that you need here.
This is in response to a Rescript issued by the current Pope, a story of it which is published August 30th, 2022. USSA News. Pope Francis has ordered that the Holy See and connected entities move all financial assets to the Institute of Works of Religion, commonly known as the Vatican Bank. The Pope's Rescript, issued August 23rd, clarifies the interpretation of a paragraph in a new constitution of the Roman Curia promulgated in March. I try to click on this link and I get a 403 forbidden error. In this article on the pillar, we find an analysis of why the Pope Francis Vatican Bank order is considered to be a big deal. Pope Francis issued a Rescript Tuesday emphasizing that all Vatican departments and institutions are required to move their investments and cash to the Institute of Works of Religion, commonly known as the Vatican Bank, for the next few weeks. At first glance, the document appears to be little more than a hurry-up legal memo to curial departments, giving them until the end of September to finish bringing their cash and investments back into the Vatican's own institution from outside banks and accounts. But a close read of the short text points to something else. It turns out that Francis' order Tuesday could be one of the more significant financial policy changes of his pontificate. The Rescript says that Francis is providing an authentic interpretation of some norms from the Pope's new apostolic constitution governing the Roman Curia, predicate Evangelium. But the interpretation actually changes part of the law completely, barely 5 months after predicate Evangelium itself was issued. The changes appear to strip away a major area of competence from APSA, the Holy See Department, which acts as sovereign wealth fund, contracting body, and paymaster for the Curia. Francis has spent several years building up APSA as a central investment manager for the Vatican, but Tuesday's reform appears to transfer management of all assets and investments apart from the Holy See's real estate portfolio away from the APSA and over to IOR, which isn't even a curial department at all, strictly speaking. And all this done even without a singular mention of APSA in a text of the Rescript itself. This article is extremely long, but there is the implication that financial corruption may underlie a reason for this reform. It's noted that in June of this year, the APSA partially financed a €100 million deal to rescue another scandal-hit Catholic hospital in Rome, this time linked to businessman Gianluigi Torzi, who also was on trial in the Vatican for extortion and committed a multi-million euro fraud against the hospital. The author of this article considers the action to be an attempt by the Pope to place the financial affairs of the Roman Curia under the scrutiny of international watchdogs, to suggest that the APSA was insufficient for that. But this video that I just showed you implies that's basically a part of the Great Reset agenda.
And it's from Vatican's own website. See, that's .va's Vatican. And it's all linked, ladies and gentlemen, to this 1st of October. Don't pay energy bills. It's code to say protect your assets at all costs. Okay, this is from Al Jazeera television. And this campaign is running in UK, Britain, England.
Anywho, I guess we're in for an exciting month. Before I go, just commenting on Joe Biden's extremely divisive September 1st speech, I did get a sense of the current political climate in relation to responses of this horrid imagery. Some of the liberals claim it's a pretty cool image, seemingly unfazed by the obvious thematic relation to evil villains from Star Wars to V from Vendetta. Oh yeah, Marilyn Manson. The Ukrainian flag profiles are really enjoying this overall. Dark Brand and Rising, just gently reminding us that there are some individuals who will never acknowledge that something is wrong. They'll ignore that their president has taken a record 150 days off of work so far. They won't question that nearly infinite taxpayer money is just given over to a regime in Ukraine that's fighting a war with Russia. They ignore the manipulation by their networks, the example which is CNN, who changes the background of the video from a blood red to a hot pink in an obvious attempt to cover up for a public relations fiasco by the current commander-in-chief. And instead, they rally around this notion of boycotting CNN because a few news pundits were critical of the monstrous and diabolical Joe Biden primetime address. And I shouldn't forget to mention the odd one-word phenomena that occurred the night of his address, demonstrating a type of political cooperation with various organizations including NASA, Wikipedia, FedEx, Joe Biden himself, CNN, the US French Embassy, CERN, McDonald's, Microsoft, Starbucks, Fidelity, Washington Post, YouTube, TikTok, and NBA. Here's an example of one by Amtrak, and here's an example of another by Biden, which I responded to. He says democracy, and I say rhetoric. I guess I could have said virtue signaling as well. And that ends this roundup of highlights of recent political events for the last 2 weeks. I don't intend to do too many of these videos. I place this one because I feel that we are in somewhat historic times with the degree of craziness in Animal House that is ongoing. All right, see you next video.